Hello, I'm Bill Jarrett. I'm with the Washtenaw County GOP, and we're here at Eastern Michigan University for the Eyes on the U.S. Presidential Election Campaign, Presidential Election 2012 event on February 14th, 2012. And with us today we have Stacy Swimp, who is an excellent speaker about the Republican Party, and he has some great things to say. Stacy, come on up and tell us about yourself.
Well, good to be here today, and it was a very exciting panel. Host, I want to thank the Washtenaw County Republican Party for inviting me here to be on this panel. First of all, it was great to see young people out here, because they are our future. I've heard it said that the eyes of our children's children are looking back at us, and they're praying that we can see beyond our time. So to see young people here, to me, meant a great deal. So, and the other thing is getting the opportunity to dispel the myths. I believe the Republican Party has the right message, but very often we have a problem with messaging. We have a perception issue. So today we had an opportunity to dispel the myths. We had an opportunity to put forth the right message here at the university. Great questioning, great young people, and others around the local community apparently came in. So we want to bring a couple of young people. In fact, I don't want to be the center of attention. Two young men who are actually a part of the panel. Hey, man. Thank you so much for coming by. First of all, let's give them your name. Where are you from?
My name is Nathaniel Winston. I am from Detroit, Michigan. I am a member of both the EMU Student Government Political Action Committee, as well as the NAACP here, and I'm also the chairman of the Political Action Committee here.
Excellent. Your name and where you're from?
I'm Jarvis Holly. I'm from Inkster, Michigan, and I'm also on the Political Action Committee. I'm here today we sat in on the panel with Stacy and some of the other Washtenaw County Republicans just to hear some of the myths dispelled about where the Republican Party stands and what they're about.
So the first question I want to ask you is, what was the highlight of the panel for you?
I think the highlight was definitely when we were talking about African Americans, the Republican Party, and how they're sort of told the myths about the Republican Party. And we go with the Democratic Party just because they seem to represent us in a way that we've been misinformed. I guess that's sort of what you said. Just
Absolutely. What was the highlight for you?
Just as Jarvis said, the highlight of the event was the dispelling of the myths about Republicanism. In the way the perceptions were developed, like through media or through developed ideology over lifetime. So he discussed how African Americans tend to go being Democrat just because that's what we choose, because we don't know anything else. We're not even just our race itself, it's because those who are poorly educated and don't know otherwise. So that was a myth that was dispelled. And the fact that we had different perceptions from each guest who happened to discuss about it, and from their perspective, so that was the fun about it.
Now, I'm not going to throw ourselves softballs, so I'm going to be honest, we're going to be balanced about this. So, was there any disappointment? Was there something you would have, I wish they would have just talked a little bit more about this, or I didn't particularly disagree about that, but I want to hear more about it.
I would say I liked where the guy who said he was sort of in the Libertarian Party of the GOP. I wish he would have had a little bit more time to talk and express his views, because that's sort of where I lean more if I had to choose, so that was definitely.
And same question to you.
Well, I feel like it should have been discussed was the fact that they said the main goals about Republicanism is economic growth and individual opportunity, and the fact that he brought up African Americans. How do you expect African Americans to adopt the theory of, or the ideology of Republicanism if they don't have individual opportunities or economic growth within their communities? So therefore, most likely they would adopt social welfare. So that's one thing that should have been discussed, the history of that. Not even necessarily the history, as to like what can you change and how do you educate those people to adopt different theories. So.
Was there any myth coming in the door that you may have thought or believed that you walked out saying, well, I did think this, but after hearing Stacy or after hearing somebody else in the panel, I think a little differently about that. Was there any particular thing?
I would say the welfare part when it came up, most people, I think believe that Republicans are completely against vote, and the panel discussed that it's not really that they're completely against it, it's just that they're not about it for life and just living forever. It's about helping hand, the gentleman said on the panel, instead of just someone holding you up.
A hand up, so
Yeah,
exactly. Same question to you.
Just to add on what he said, the whole myth about Republicans being against social welfare, they're about, what they told us about was limiting social welfare. I mean, we're offering a helping hand, but that doesn't mean you have to stay on that for your whole lifetime. Another thing is the fact that they said all Republicans aren't wealthy. I mean, that's just a simple fact. I didn't necessarily think it was a myth. I mean, that's just an ignorant thing. So that's something I would dispel correctly. So yeah.
So my admitting in front of everybody that I'm broke helps you understand that.
I believe, not even necessarily for me, if they would say it to someone else, large, like, I'm like, oh yeah, because that's what you get. If you don't understand anything else, you would automatically adopt the thing like, oh, all Republicans are wealthy.
No, I got to go here just for a second, because when you are black, you have to be Republican, you have to be conservative. Now, y'all got to be honest. There are a lot of perceptions out there about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Am I right about that? A lot of I've been called everything but what my mama called me, by the way. But having met me, how am I different from your perspective than some of those myths that you've heard, or some of those perceptions that you know are out there?
I would think talking about your experience and where you come from, and you said that you were, the way you were turned around sort of to conservatism by some of the people from the
Conservative Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce, and just them being able to sort of guide you, but not completely changing, I guess, the way you feel about things, but introducing you to new ideas.
What about you? What about me may have shocked you, surprised you, or maybe be a little bit different than what you typically would hear about somebody like me? Yeah.
I mean,
who happens to be black?
what I hear normally about black Republicans is the fact that all the time, talking black man. And my thing about what he said, it's all about what research you do and how you educate yourself and how you go about it and ideology. So, obviously, he's chosen what he's chosen because he's chosen to educate himself about these issues. So, how you tend to go about them is how you tend to become a part of the party.
So, the last thing is, now, y'all invited me to come back here to the university. Y'all not gonna gang up on me, are you?
No.
I got you on film in front of the country. I just want to know, am I gonna be safe when I come back here?
Yeah, definitely.
You sure?
Yeah. It's not how.
I was just joking. Listen, you guys are fantastic. What I really like here, and remember we talked about this out here, is that when we can put aside differences, maybe focus on what we have in common, our values, and what we care about, we tend to find out, and I want to hear do you agree, we tend to find out that we're usually not so far apart. We have more in common than what we're different. And the other thing is, and I'm going to leave you with this, it's very important, and I'm sure you probably already know this, but those things that unite us are always more important than those things that divide us. Always. What do you think about that?
I would agree. I think that especially in certain situations and policies, I would definitely agree with that. What about you?
Definitely. Like I always bring up the fact that ideology. It's all, I feel like it's based on tradition. So if you were raised on something, you're going to adopt that theory without even trying to teach yourself about the whole theory of whatever you want to learn about it. So I feel like if you want to learn something, educate yourself about it instead of just. First of all, the first thing about Democrats and Republicans is half of them was more based on this tradition. So if they probably just get me to a consensus, half the issues that are going on today can be resolved. So.
I think that you have to understand both sides of an argument to really reinforce whatever you're believing. You can't just come from one side of the argument and definitely understand.
Well, I tell you what, you guys make me feel very good about the future of our country. I just want you to know that. So I'm looking forward to coming back here to Eastern Michigan. All right? Spend some time with you guys. All right. Thank you so much. All right.